Yeah, I just got, just real quick, I might be getting a phone call because I'm meeting my friend at the movies and I'm running late as usual. But anyway, and I just left him a voicemail saying I was running late. We need to figure out how we're going to, whatever, orchestrate that because I don't know where he's going to be sitting and all. It's going to be dark and all that stuff. So anyhow, that call is probably going to be coming in, so I'm going to talk really fast, which I'm good at, by the way. Anyway, I just want to say that I got a video banned by YouTube, so that's pretty exciting. It was a video entitled something like "Professional Malpractice in Evangelical Churches, 1 of 5." There's 5. I talk so much I have to break these videos up into pieces because my phone will only record a video 30 minutes long. So wow, that's pretty bad, right? But anyway, that's really bad. Who wants to listen to somebody talk there for 30 minutes or 30 times 5? Or it's not really 30 times 5. Usually one's like 30, the next one's like 20, the next one's like 20. I mean, that's pretty bad. Anyway, so I got the video banned. I have to say that at this point in time, I'm really excited about it because it's just crazy, you know? Think about that. They ban a video because I'm driving in my car talking? I'm not even really cursing. Maybe I might have cursed once or twice at the most, but it wasn't like bad cursing. It wasn't like GD or F-bombs or anything like that. It definitely was not that. I mean, I might do that if I'm really angry about something, but like I have to be really angry. Like I think I dropped a couple F-bombs maybe when I was talking about my dad, my siblings locking up my dad, stuff like that, you know, but because he was old and they're control freaks and just, you know, I want to say he had Alzheimer's. He didn't have Alzheimer's. And people love to throw that word Alzheimer's around. It's like, give me a break, man. So ridiculous. But I won't get off on that tangent. But so I got the video banned. I'll put a link to this video because so far Facebook hasn't banned it, but YouTube has banned it. So that's just that's amazing. I mean, it was even so much as, you know, you get a warning that says, hey, we're looking at your video, and then 3 or 4 days later you get another message that says, yeah, we looked at it, yeah, it's really bad, it's just worse than we thought, you know, or it's as bad as we thought it might be, we're banning it. Why, because I'm talking? That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, I was criticizing some community leaders, but I mean, seriously, criticizing community leaders and you're going to ban it? I mean, on the one hand, it's really funny because it just shows how desperate and how pathetic they are. And on the other hand, it's a little scary. You know, I mean, it could go either way. It's either really pathetic or really scary. You know, the thought of people this trivial and petty and thin-skinned and nasty. The thought of weak, you know, intellectually weak. The thought of people like this being in power, people like this having the power to silence other people just because they don't like what they're saying. I mean, on the one hand, it's really scary. On the other hand, it's kind of funny because, you know, it's like, wow, it's funny to think that people in power are this pathetic, you know, that they have to literally silence people. You know, I mean, if you're taking away people's ability to express themselves, that is a commentary on how weak and pathetic you are. You know, so in that sense, it's funny. In the other sense that, hey, these are, but on the other hand, it's like, wait a minute, but these are the people that have the power and control. That's a little scary. So it's like a double-edged. It's a double-edged thing. I guess that's really the way it's always been, though. You know, history always judges the kings and queens that were really just unbelievably incompetent, backward, barbaric, literally stupid, like literally, you know, intellectually deficient. You know, so history is always hard on these people, and we laugh at them and we recoil in disgust. But what we don't think about sometimes is, yeah, but they had a lot of power over a lot of people, and a lot of people suffered as a result of their incompetence and their literal stupidity and their pettiness and their greed and their avarice and, you know, whatever their flavor of vice was at that particular point in time. So, you know, so we have to kind of, I think, have a full spectrum awareness of what's going on, and acknowledge that, hey, on the one hand it's funny, on the other hand it's scary, and so that's what this is. It's funny and it's scary. So we'll see how this all shakes out. I think we're kind of on a razor's edge as a culture. You know, this social media has sort of put us there because, you know, I don't think people were really, you know, tyranny was able to sort of amass, gather, you know, organize quietly before the rise of social media, because all of the public spokespeople were bought and sold, basically puppets, you know, and so they could come on and say what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, what you should be scared of, what you should feel okay about, and they had no competition, they had no dissenting point of view. Now the entire population is a potential dissenting point of view, and they've decided that, hey, you know what, we got to shut these people up. We can't have dissenting point of views. That was the whole point of us, you know, controlling and manipulating and buying out the media spokespeople, the public spokespeople, so that there were no dissenting point of views. Now this social media thing has completely ruined it. So it's pretty interesting, pretty fascinating place that we're in. So that's it. I'm banned, at least for this one video. And I've heard that my friend told me that they're doing that on a sporadic basis. So it's almost like they do it on a you know, it's like a test, you know, to see how we're going to react. Are we going to sort of, you know, like a turtle puts his head in his shell? Are we going to put our heads in our shells and be quiet like they want us to, or are we just going to speak out all the louder? Not, and I don't mean to say that we're right. I don't mean to say that I'm right. I don't know if I'm right. All I know is that I'm saying what I think. You know, and that's what scares them, I think, is that people are saying what they think. These billionaire Silicon Valley and leaders and the multinational corporations that control them, and our enemies from foreign nations that are in collusion with them, and all of the local people who are sympathetic, you know, with them. They don't want us speaking out, you know. Like my pastor, Glenn Money, he held a, when he first came to our church, he held a town hall meeting, right? But he demonstrated, like, unequivocally, with absolute lack of, how do you say, ambivalence, or not ambivalence, like contradictory, you know, methodology, with an absolute clear message. He communicated that at this town hall meeting, he didn't care what the town had to say. You know, I don't want to hear from you. You know, I'm the leader. You sit down and be quiet and listen to what I have to say, and I don't want to hear from you. You know, so there are, you can look at it in a way. It's like leadership is like a franchise, like McDonald's or Taco Bell or whatever. They're a franchise. You know, they're franchise leaders. They tell their franchise owners what to say, you know, how often to mop the floor, how often to clean the bathrooms, you know, I mean, everything, down to the last detail. That's the whole point of a franchise. It's a guaranteed model, you know. So you can look at leadership like the same way, you know. Whoever's in power, you know, and obviously there's competing factions in power. So all of the local leaders, and indeed all citizens, we ally, you know, we're like franchise owners. We ally ourselves with one faction or another. So do you ally yourself with the faction that doesn't want to hear from the population, that doesn't care what the people have to say, doesn't want to hear what they think, just wants to sit up there on your mighty white throne and issue dictates from on high? You know, and of course you got your little sycophants. Every leader has a sycophant, you know. I mean, think about it. even Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, Saddam Hussein, Adolf Hitler, I mean, they all had segments of the population that they were very, very good to, you know? Typically what they do is they pick 30 million that are going to be the slaves of the 10 million, or the 5 million, or whatever, however big their inner circle is, or their sect, their sect of privileged, of the privileged among them, so you can't. I don't mean to suggest that anybody these franchise owners of leaders that they operate like in a vacuum or like they're out there on their own. No, they have everybody. I mean, as a community, we sort of come down on lines in terms of which power faction do we ally ourselves with. And so obviously Glenn Money allies himself with the faction that doesn't want to hear from the population, from the populace. Doesn't care what the people think. Just let me hear from the experts. Let me hear from the people with the establishment point of view. The official, the approved, the cliched, the institutionally certified point of view. That's the only point of view I want to hear. Everybody else, just keep your mouth shut. Sit down and shut up. If you want to parrot us, we'll let you talk. But if you're going to say something that is in opposition to what we have to say, forget it. You don't get a voice. We're going to do everything. We're going to do whatever we have to do to make sure your voice is never heard. So that's like the franchise of the Democrat Party. That's the franchise of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, and that's the franchise of dictators from ages past. A dictator will let you speak as long as he'll let you sit there and speak all day long, as long as you're saying what he wants you to say, right? But it's the freedom-loving, right? The liberty-loving, the liberty franchise owners that say, wait a minute, I don't care what you have to say. I'm going to defend your right to speak, and not only am I going to defend your right to speak, I'm going to defend your right to, an appropriate platform. I'm going to defend your right. If this guy speaks for 5 minutes, I'm going to make sure you get to speak for 5 minutes. Because the franchise owners of the dictators, the authoritarians, the elitist, they play all kind of games. I mean, don't get me wrong. If they can completely shut you out and shut you up, they will. Definitely. That's the end game. Big time. But between wherever they might happen to find themselves and the end game, they'll play all kind of games. They'll let you speak for 30 seconds and, with your point of view, when they'll let the other point of view speak for 30 minutes, I mean, that's basically what Glenn Money did at the town hall meeting. He got up there and lectured us for 55 minutes, and then he let 30 people divide up 5 minutes at the end. It's like, well, what the heck is that, man? I mean, we listen to you speak every week. Now you're going to call an extra meeting, and we're going to come and listen to you talk again? It's like, what the heck is that? And then you're going to call it a town hall meeting? That's not a town hall meeting. I don't know what it is, but it's not a town hall meeting. It's some kind of leadership lecture or leadership, I don't know what it is. I have no idea. But it's not a town hall meeting, right? Town hall meetings are supposed to be interactive. They're supposed to be representative. They're supposed to be open forums for people to express their concerns. But apparently we're not allowed to have concerns. So, or if we are, we have to keep them to ourselves, But anyway, it's very exciting to be shut down. It's very, it's like when you're hunting. You're hunting, let's say you're hunting a monster. You're hunting a dragon. You're sitting out there in the woods, sitting out there, and then you see the monster. You see the dragon, right? That's exciting. That's what this is. It's like seeing a monster. And the monster is this authoritarian, totalitarian evil that is rearing its ugly head in a very obvious way. See, a smart monster that's being hunted, will stay hidden, right? But what you do is you try to scare a monster out of its hole, right? whatever you're hunting, a bear or whatever. You try to scare it out of its hole. You don't want it to stay hidden. You can't hunt it. You can't shoot it with your arrow or your bullet or whatever unless you scare it out of its hole. So we've scared the monster out of the hole, and they're just like blatantly flailing around, trying anything. I mean, just how do you say, like blindly trying things that are in all likelihood doomed to failure, but they have no choice. Nobody wants to be a censor. Nobody wants to be known as an authoritarian like a Joseph Stalin or an Adolf Hitler, or nobody wants that. They all want to be it. I'm talking about the people on the political left. They all want to be it, whether they admit it to themselves or not. Because you're not going to silence somebody if you don't have some kind of a lust for power, in your soul. You're not going to do that, because that's an expression of power lust, to silence people or to manipulate circumstances so that people are not given an opportunity to speak. I mean, it's the same as silencing people. It's just one is overt and one is passive. But it's the same thing. So you don't do that unless you have power lust, like a degraded, depraved version of power lust. Like an evil, ugly, nasty version of power lust. You just don't do it. People that are honest and liberty-loving and free-loving and are open to other people's points of view, even if they make them uncomfortable, even if they disagree, even if they don't understand, even if it sounds weird, even if whatever. They don't go around silencing people. That's an expression of dysfunction. That's an expression of vice, personal corruption and vice. So anyway, it's very exciting to have the monster show itself. It shows that the monster is desperate, scared, and that the monster feels threatened, which is what the monster deserves. The monster deserves to be threatened. And all of the monster's little local franchise owners, they deserve the same thing, So, all right, that's it, my video. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to go on so long. I really was thinking it would just be like a 2-minute video. But apparently I am incapable of a 2-minute video, and I'm at the movies now. So God bless everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.